What's happening, folks? I'm back with some more Duran Duran, and we're back with a special request. Shout out to Ron. I'm going to try your surname, Stiglitz. If I'm not getting that right, I apologize, and I will never attempt again. But because there are two Rons who comment on a lot of the videos, especially Duran Duran reactions, I felt like I had to specify. So again, if I got that surname wrong, you have my sincere apologies. But yeah, when I was reacting to Pop Trash, which I recently got to the end of, I mentioned that I had skipped over prototypes because someone had mentioned to me that it's not even really music, and so I was curious about that, and I used this as a frame of reference when I talked about skipping over it, which I think was in the video for Someone Else Not Me in Spanish. But I mentioned at the time that, Yazoo did a song on their debut album Upstairs at Eric's called I Before E Except After C, and it's not a song. It's like these weird, it's like this, looped vocals, and they're sort of like, recurrent in a rhythmic way, but it's still sort of arrhythmic. Bottom line, it's like this really experimental, like, sonic piece of art, but it's not a song, it's not really music per se, and it was so like weird that like a minute or two into it I was like, I can't react to this, like it doesn't work as a reaction, so I skipped over that. And I remember when I did that, someone who had commented on a number of Yazoo reactions was like, yeah, I think you were right to skip it. It is a really weird experimental piece and not a song. So that's what someone mentioned about this. So I cheated and I did a quick check where I just kind of jumped through it, like listen for 5 seconds, jump ahead 30, listen for a few seconds, jump ahead 30 more. And yeah, what I could tell is that it's a very like fragmented piece where there's like a number of sections that are like recorded audio, like in a room of people talking or like other found sounds, but then there are one or two segments where there's like at least some form of like a melody. So I wouldn't say it's not music at all, but just in my brief sort of like clicking through just to check experience, it's definitely not a normal song, and it doesn't have like singing per se. So again, I skipped over it because I was like, I'm not sure if that'll work as a reaction, but Ron was like, I'd like to hear it, so yeah, shout out to Ron. Let's go back and get it. It is about 6 minutes long, so I won't waste too much time thinking about the term prototypes, but knowing a little bit what it sounds like, prototype is now, I'm thinking about it more in the context of not like a particular like design that may go into full production, but I'm thinking it more as like, it's really ahead of its time. It's like this is just a brand new, like fresh off the drawing table, like mock-up, and so you may hear more of this in the future down the line, but right now it's just a prototype. So again, I'm thinking about it in terms of its avant-garde status relative just to the bit that I've heard. So that might not be why they gave it that title, but again, having heard a little bit as I have now, that's where my brain takes it. So without further ado, let's get to it. This is Duran Duran Prototypes from their 2000 album Pop Trash. Twisted, warped dissonance of that high kind of melody in the back. Wicked. Sounds like if a media player like malfunctioned.
उसको साथ रहो थोड़ा सा वॉइस इज मोर लिटिल
के कानों में
वॉइस
is more vocal higher
Volume.
is that possible?
Can you make the voice a little bit higher?
Yes, I can do that. Electric cello. Never mind.
Ocean of sound.
Forget that one.
Imagine this. Seas ocean of sound. Imagine this.
This is like I Before E except after C by Yazoo. That's the whole track is like this.
Ocean of sound. Imagine this. Seas ocean of sound.
Imagine this.
Imagine this.
Let me sell it to you.
Seas ocean of sound. Imagine this. Seas ocean of sound. Sound.
I know it's really dissonant and sort of nasty, but I don't hate this. That's like R2D2 malfunctioning. It's like, hey buddy, you alright, dude? Help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hey. It's like stuck though, right? That's a 303. It's either their 303 proper or a 303 clone. That's what that was. Shout out to Ron for encouraging me to actually take this trip. This is the best part so far. It's consonant. Warm, rich, inviting. It's like a sunny afternoon on a beach. Legit question now. I'll wait till we're fully done, but having heard that longer segment, I feel like you should have excised that, made it its own track, and then maybe do all this other stuff in a separate one. Sorry, we have lost cabin pressure. That's it? That's it. Yeah, so as I just said, I like it overall, and I was enjoying like not knowing where it was going or what the next crazy thing we were going to hear was, but I'm perplexed by that longer, like minute and a half, almost like 2 minute it felt like segment of that really lush, rich sort of like, celestial sunlight sort of feel, because that felt more sonorous, more melodic, more consonant, and again, I feel like you could cut that out, put it as its own track. That would be a very enjoyable and interesting instrumental tune, and then do the other 4 minutes or so of this as a separate like bonus track, which I still would be interested in, but I almost feel like that longer segment of Prototypes, it sort of breaks what it's trying to do before that, and then to kind of go back into a little bit of the sort of choppy, like different sort of, recorded sort of weird bits for like a little section after that longer melodic section. it felt odd. It felt like the song suddenly, or the tune was like, or the track I should say, it was sort of at cross purposes. So again, I feel like they should have maybe made that into two separate things. And again, I would have very much enjoyed the not just that melodic part, but the other switching dynamic sort of, again, experimental sequence part of the tune. But again, it's something separate. So yeah, I enjoyed it, but I feel like maybe that could have been two different tracks, and they both would have worked in their own separate ways. So let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you enjoy that melodic section, and sort of that's the the meat of the sandwich, and then the sort of like weird eccentric sections sort of bookending it, or that's like the work of art. I would get that. But like I said, I feel like that really like epic, wonderful consonant section, just make that a 2-minute piece by itself, and then do the other experimental piece on its own. So that was my impression. Let me know if you disagree or if you do agree. And then yeah, as far as I know, that is officially the end of all the reactions for Pop Trash. As I mentioned, I'm going to do some album reviews, but I'm trying to finish off some of the albums. And again, shout out to Philip, who I was thinking one of the first album reactions that I was going to do is All You Need Now, because that was like, once I think Future Past was the first one I got after starting to react to them and getting into Rio, but All You Need Now was either the second one or maybe the third. I got it very early on. I'm a huge fan of the album, so I was going to start with maybe that album review more than or before some of the others, but Philip pointed out, wait, there's still a few bonus tracks, so I reacted to 2 of those earlier. I'll get to the other couple the next few days, so do let me know what you think of those, but eventually I will start talking about the albums like as a whole. Again, shout out to Ron. He was wondering, if I'd be willing to rank them. Sometimes I get uncomfortable with that, but it's not even so much because I don't want to like, I don't want to put this one low because other people like it and so on. I'm willing to, have an opinion about different albums, and maybe like relative opinions, comparisons and contrasts and so on. But it's like hard in my own brain, because like, if I really like a few different albums, then it's like, okay, well, I'm going to put this one in the number 2 slot, but man, that feels harsh to put this one in the number 3, but if I do that, then I got to put this one in 4, and that's illegitimate. So like, it's hard for me to put numbers on things sometimes, but I will talk about the albums in terms of like what I like about them, and on some level I think I will be able to say that, generally speaking, I like this album a bit more than this album, or at the very least I find myself listening to this one more since reacting to it than this other one, and so on. So at the very least there will be some comparisons and contrast, even if I don't like, okay, here they are numbered 1 through 13 or 15, whatever it is. But yeah, like I said, this is, as far as I can tell, the end officially of Pop Trash. So I know it's not everyone's favorite album. A number of people have mentioned this. I get that, and I do understand that with no John Taylor there, there's songs that feel like they're missing a real dynamic pop and bass. I do get that, but I enjoyed a lot of the songs along the way. So yeah, let me know what you think of the album. Other than that, I will see you next time. Peace.